Of today's game.
Yes!
Who's in the starting lineup?
Come on, son, you got to get out there and take the mound. It's game time.
What does the skipper have to say?
It's an attitude, you got to be willing to defend, you got to be willing to base run, or you can't play here.
It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook with Tommy Wortz on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan.
Welcome into the leadoff show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wortz here with you, getting you caught up on all things Milwaukee Brewers, as Milwaukee will take on the Los Angeles Dodgers, beginning a 3-game series today. It'll be Freddie Peralta on the bump for the Crew, going up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto of the Dodgers. July 7th, 6:40. First pitch from American Family Field. It'll be game number 91 of the season for the Milwaukee Brewers. First thing we always do on the leadoff show every day, the starting lineups.
Looking up, and it is gone.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan.
We'll start things off with the visiting Los Angeles Dodgers today. Leading things off, the DH, some guy named Shohei Ohtani, going for the LA Dodgers. Batting second, it'll be Mookie Betts. He'll play shortstop. Freddie Freeman is the first baseman, batting third. Will Smith will be catching today and batting fourth. Andy Pages will be the right fielder, batting fifth. Michael Conforto, the left fielder, bats sixth. Haesung Kim is at second base, batting seventh. Miguel Rojas, the third baseman, will bat eighth. James Outman in center field, bats ninth. Now for the Milwaukee Brewers, Sal Frelick leads things off. He's in right field. William Contreras is catching, batting second. Jackson Chourio, the center fielder, will bat third. Christian Yelich, the DH, will bat fourth. Andrew Vaughn, the first baseman today, will bat fifth. Isaac Collins in left field, bats sixth. Bryce Terang at second base will bat seventh today. Caleb Durbin, the third baseman, will bat eighth. Andrew Monasterio rounds things out. He is the shortstop today for the Crew and batting ninth. Well, you might have heard already. If you did not, you now have some thoughts after hearing the lineup. Rhys Hoskins was placed on the 10-day IL with a sprained left thumb, retroactive from July 6th. The team has recalled first baseman and outfielder Andrew Vaughn from AAA Nashville. He is the person who was traded for Aaron Savale within the White Sox organization, now going to be back up with the Milwaukee Brewers at the major league level. So far, right now, Andrew Vaughn in AAA has this stat line here. When he was with the Charlotte Knights, it was not going very well for Andrew Vaughn. Since then, now being called up by the Milwaukee Brewers, what he did with the Nashville Sounds, for instance, has been a little bit better. So far with the Nashville Sounds this year, he was batting .259. He had an .838 OPS, 3 home runs in that time in just 16 games played, 15 hits during that as well. Andrew Vaughn, the newest member of the Milwaukee Brewers, will make his Brewers debut today. Well, yesterday was quite the emotional day for the Milwaukee Brewers. Brandon Woodruff was back on the bump. We'll hear from him, but let's go through the entire game on this segment. It's called The Rewind.
Did you miss the last game? Did you miss what was said after the last game? It's time to rewind. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan.
Brandon Woodruff going up against Edward Cabrera of the Miami Marlins in the game in which Brandon Woodruff, 660 days later, pitching on the same mound. That was the last mound he had ever pitched on. And in the first inning, he got things started off pretty early as the leadoff man was Xavier Edwards. He stood no chance against Brandon Woodruff.
Catching Woodruff for the first time ever. 1-2 pitch. Struck him out. Welcome back, Big Lou.
Brandon Woodruff had quite the day. 6 innings of work, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts. He had a whole bunch in this one. Here's a little compilation of them.
1-2 pitch. Struck him out.
Rehab starts in the minors.
Got him.
17. So he said he was fired up, and he said no.
Struck him out. And he got him low to Ramirez. Got him. Struck him out. Got him.
Got him again. Jeff Levering, Vinny Rottino on the call. Highlights courtesy of FanDuel Sports Network. But Brewers offense was pretty quiet through 2 innings as well as Woodruff kept dealing during that time. It was until the 3rd inning that's when we saw the Brewers offense start to come to life. To start things off, Sal Frelick and William Contreras both recorded an out. Christian Yelich would reach on an infield single. He stole his way over to second base. Doesn't matter when you hit one over the wall, Churio.
And a drive into left field. That'll get a run in. Plenty. It is up, and it is going to be gone. Jackson Churio goes deep. His 15th. It's 2-0. Slider that backed up over the inside part of the plate, and Churio crushed it.
In the 3rd inning, we saw one man reach, but another strikeout recorded for Brandon Woodruff. In the 4th, he struck out 2 of the 3 batters he faced. In the 5th, he had 1 mistake pitch during this entire game, it felt like. Gave up the home run to Hernandez of Miami. However, that was the only run that would come across for Miami in this game. Afterwards, as well, in the 8th, Jackson Churio would get 1 more RBI. He had all 3 for the Milwaukee Brewers as he would get a sacrifice fly that would score Sal Frelick. The Brewers needed no more help on the offensive side. Trevor McGill would shut things down 1-2-3, getting the last 2 batters, Xavier Edwards and Jesus Sanchez, to strike out. The Milwaukee Brewers, 50-40 through 90 games. The win goes to Brandon Woodruff. It was over 660 days since he got his last one. The loss to Edward Cabrera. Trevor McGill picking up his National League 2nd most, 20 saves after closing it out for the Milwaukee Brewers against the Miami Marlins yesterday. Who was the MVP of the game?
Who was the MVP of the last game for the Crew? Who stood out the most? Let's find out. It's the Leadoff Show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM. The Fan.
I mean, Jake Bowers was 2 for 4 in the day. No, I'm kidding. It has to be Brandon Woodruff. Everyone was waiting to hear what he had to say after the game. Here is Brandon Woodruff after 6 innings of work, 8 strikeouts, just 2 hits allowed in the contest. Brandon Woodruff, your MVP of yesterday's game. Here he is afterwards on the emotions going through his system after coming back after almost 2 years injured.
Feel and how'd you manage just the emotions of today?
I felt good. My physically, the body is in a good spot, and with everything that's happened throughout the rehab process, has been a silver lining in a sense with the ankle and then getting hit and the elbow. It's allowed me time to really just get everything close to where I want it to be, and I just have to keep getting now used to this type of load. Like I threw 70 pitches, and by no means was I worn out, but you could kind of sense it a little bit in myself, and it's like, when you haven't done it in almost 2 years, it's you forget how much mentally and physically a Major League Baseball game can take out of you. And but I was prepared for it, and I was ready to go today. And honestly, I had no expectations. I had none at all. I usually do all my video work and preparation in between. It's like I've only faced 2 of these guys in this lineup, so that was kind of difficult for me, and just knowing how I wanted to attack. But I watched the 2 previous games and just tried to give it my best effort today, and thankfully it went well.
What were the emotions?
Honestly, it was kind of strange. I wasn't there was different waves of it. I'd be sitting here and And then next thing, it's like, man, I'm about to throw my first game in 2 years, and just quietly think to myself, like, this is such a cool deal. You know what I mean? Like, just everything you go through in the rehab and think back to, oh my God, just like the worst days. And then it's like, you just want to be able to just pitch in one game. Honestly, it's like, so just fighting all of that is just like, you know what, if I just had one game left, you know, that would be cool. So, but man, it was, once I got out there, once I got in my routine, once I got on the field, all that kind of goes away. It's a weird deal. It's like I'm back to where, you know, I'm so comfortable, and that's being on the mound. So, but leading up to it, definitely, you know, a lot of thought has went into today, and I just, like I said, no expectations. I just wanted to go pitch, and but I could tell early on that weird. Like I try to say this, and honestly, I think Max Scherzer might have said this after his first start back. You can't replicate anything that you want to in the minor leagues to get you ready for the big league. You just can't. And I've had, honestly, pitch-wise, I've had a terrible changeup this whole process, and today it was good. You know, you just can't, like, you need to get in this environment. You need to get back out on that major league mound, and that take cares of everything. And yeah, it was a special day for me, and you know, not only myself, my family, and everybody that has, you know, gone into this process for sure.
Did you catch their eye? They were talking about that on the broadcast. Whether you saw them, it looked like your kids are.
Well,
to catch your
I
eye.
didn't know where they were sitting, but I could hear Joni after the first strikeout. I could hear from my left side. I didn't know exactly where she was sitting, and you know, it's hard. Like I try to lock it in, but I wanted to know where they were at. And you know, honestly, it's the first real game that my daughter can remember, because last time I pitched, she wasn't old enough to really remember, and now I have a little son, and so yeah, it was cool for not only Joni and the family, but you know, everybody who was involved for sure.
Obviously, there's more that goes into it than just the velo, but I think you topped out like almost 96. Were you happy with where you were? And did you feel like Adam said earlier to Murph, like there were times where you knew you could kind of reach back and get it if you needed it?
It's weird. I knew exactly when I released that ball, I knew it was different, and in a good way. Like I knew, like, okay, that one felt good, and that was probably one of the 3 times I looked at the radar gun, and it was one of those, because I knew that when that ball left my hand, it felt good. So, honestly, all I really honed in on was, it really went into the bullpen just like, all right, if I got a good curveball today, I'm going to go with it. If I got a good changeup, I'm going to go with it. If my fastball's good, I'm going to stick with that. Really didn't know what was going to happen in terms of that, but pretty early on, I knew the command was there, and I just rolled with it. So, yeah, velo wasn't, I mean, look, that's pitching. That's the beautiful thing about this game, is that I can, you know, that's a good sign that I can go out there with lesser stuff and still compete and get guys out. So, I mean, yeah, that was fun for sure.
What does today do for you moving forward, considering you had no expectations? How do you feel now that it's over?
I'm still trying to really honestly just soak the day in. You know, obviously a great feeling to go out, not only personally, but at the end of the day, we won the baseball game, we won the series, we're playing good baseball, and I think that's been a hard thing for me to like manage. Like, how was, you know, personally, it was cool to get it back out there, but like, it was like, man, I really want to win. So like, you know, I really didn't care what happened today. I was just getting back out there. But then that compete mode kind of took over, and it was like, I really wanted to win the game. And that's really all you care about, is giving them a chance to win, and giving the team a chance to win. And thankfully I was able to do it. So, but going forward, take one outing at a time, see where we're at the end of the year, kind of like, you know, always. So hopefully can just hop back on this train and keep the momentum going.
There is Brandon Woodruff speaking to the media after the game. That audio courtesy of Todd Rosiak on Twitter. It is the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Brandon Woodruff, fantastic in the game yesterday. How could you not be romantic about baseball when Brandon Woodruff throws 70 pitches in a 6-inning, 8-strikeout performance. How many of them were strikes? Oh, yeah, 53. The exact number he wears on his chest every day for the Milwaukee Brewers. A fantastic start. Really could not have drawn it up any better for Mr. Brandon Woodruff. It was fantastic. And anything that it just seemed like he was carving the entire day. Anything was working. Again, made one rough pitch to Hernandez, who put a really good swing on it, ends up sending it over the wall, and he had 2 hits in the game yesterday. Both were off Brandon Woodruff. Those are the only 2 hits he allowed. Honestly, it was awesome. It was so awesome to watch. The entire time you're sitting there just hoping that everything goes well for this guy who has put in so much time, so much effort, has been a leader in the clubhouse, the most tenured Brewer on the team currently, and he's able to bounce back in a performance like that. Truly amazing, truly unbelievable from Brandon Woodruff. Pat Murphy spoke about it as well after the game. Here is the manager after Brandon Woodruff's 6 innings of 1-run ball in the Brewers' 3-1 victory over the Miami Marlins.
Yeah, I mean, no one could have expected 6 innings of 2-hit ball or whatever it was. I mean, he was sensational. Any worries anybody had about this guy being able to pitch in his future or whatever, I mean, wow, he was right on it. Location, stuff, everything was, yeah. It just tells you a lot about who the guy is, and I couldn't be happier for him and his family, and what it means for the future. I mean, that's just special.
Murph, that first inning, right, it's 2 strikeouts, it's 10 pitches. I mean, was that an indication of, like, where he might be, or what were you guys looking for?
Yeah, he wasn't super, his velo and his other stuff, it didn't indicate like, oh, this guy's going to go 6 today. It indicated, wow, 91, 92, and pretty good location. And he kind of messed with them. He didn't go to the off speed. He just went heater, but he located it well. And then the second inning he was better, third inning better, fourth inning better, fifth inning better. It was like, wow. And he said, I'm coming to the end here in between the 5th and the 6th. He goes, I feel like I'm coming to the end. And he went out in the 6th, and we had guys up in the pen, but he was great, really great.
Sorry, what's the mood in the dugout like as you're watching this go on? I mean, guys that have been pretty jacked to see this.
I think the young players are looking like, wow, this is this Woodruff guy?
Yeah.
Jeez, this is what they're talking about. Wow, I mean, it's as impressive as I've seen, 2 years. You get emotional thinking about what this kid's been through, and then to see him go out and compete like that and just set an example for everyone else,
He, at a couple of times, dialed it up towards 96. It looked like that he can pick his spots to do that.
Well, I mean, again, the number isn't as important as how the ball's traveling and locating the baseball. And he knows, that's what that guy does. That's his profession. And he's got a long history of doing it. And he came back with a focus and a mentality that is good for every pitcher that's see out there. For Mizorowski to watch that, for Priester to watch that, for any guy that's thrown out there, they're like, whoa, that's the big fuss about Big Woo. No wonder the Brewers have been so damn good. You know what I mean? You throw him and Burns out there in the front end, and Peralta, and you're like, wow.
You had said yesterday that it can be such an emotional high for a guy, and then he gets a couple of innings and exhale. It didn't.
No, he didn't. No. He was locked. I don't think you'll see him let down. He's got a lot to pitch for, and he's just really, really happy for him.
What do you think this does for him? Of just that first one, and for it to go like this, right? Of for him to trust himself again.
I think that's the big thing, is he trusts himself. Now, he knows how the game ebbs and flows and how the game can be very mean and treat you bad, but he knows what he needs to do, and that performance today was indicative of this guy's a step ahead and his preparation, and to our training staff and our medical staff that have helped him through this, and our rehab people for Bryn and the guys that have Maxie that have helped him through this thing. It's been a long journey, a 2-year journey, and to see it happen, it's wonderful. It's a big success. A lot of happy people. Great day in Brewer baseball right now.
Great day indeed. There is the manager, Pat Murphy. That audio courtesy FanDuel Sports Network. It is the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Brewers would improve to 50-40 on the season since May 25th. Still the best record in the National League over those 37 games. The Milwaukee Brewers are 25-12. It does not get any easier. However, they will now take on the Los Angeles Dodgers for a 3-game series. Coming up on the other side, a lot more sound to play back for you. The All-Star rosters are announced. Freddie Peralta, the lone All-Star for the Milwaukee Brewers. I think Abner Uribe should be a little upset about that snub, maybe. But anyone else, I'm not quite sure. If you think so, let me know on Twitter at TommyWSSP. Make sure you guys are listening either on your Odyssey app, 105.7 FM The Fan, 1250 AM as well, or watch us live here on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee, youtube.com/@TheFanMilwaukee. We'll hear from Freddie Peralta in his reaction to being named to the All-Star team for a second time in his career. It is the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Line drive, base hit, down the left field line.
Let's see what the skipper has to say heading into today's game. Let's head to the Coach's Corner. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz here with you live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM. The Fan studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Before we hear from Freddie Peralta, Pat Murphy, Andrew Vaughn, Blake Perkins, all of them on today's show, let me run down the Milwaukee Brewers lineup for you today in game number 1 against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Leading things off in right field, it'll be Sal Frelick. William Contreras will bat second. He will catch today. Jackson Chourio, the center fielder, will bat third. Christian Yelich is the DH, batting fourth today. Andrew Vaughn, the newest Milwaukee Brewer, called up. He will be at first base, batting fifth. Isaac Collins in left field will bat sixth. Bryce Terang, the second baseman, will bat seventh today. Caleb Durbin at third base will bat eighth. Andrew Monasterio rounds things out. He is the shortstop and batting ninth today for the Crew. MLB All-Star lineups are now out. They had, of course, all the starters named from the fan vote. Then a lot of the coaches and players participate in what are appointing the pitchers and starters, relievers, closers, whatever it is, for the roster. And the Brewers are walking away with one spot after being 50-40 right now through the first 90 games of the year. Freddie Peralta is the team's lone all-star this year. His stats look like so. Freddie Peralta this season actually is tied for the National League lead in wins right now. He is 9-4 on the season, 99 innings of work, 12 home runs he's given up on the year only in that time. It is a 2.91 ERA, 104 strikeouts for Freddie Peralta during that time. He found out yesterday. Here is Freddie Peralta reacting to becoming the Crew's only All-Star and the second time in his career he is named to the All-Star lineup.
How do you feel to get this news?
I feel great. It's a great feeling and very happy about the news.
What did Murph say in the meeting? How did he tell you?
It was very special what he said. He gave me a lot of credits and he said that he was proud about what he's seen about me since I got here and back in 2018. And it was a great feeling when he was speaking because it reminds me a lot of things when I was 21 years old. But very special.
Freddie, what are you most proud of this year when you think about your season so far?
I think being able to take the ball every 5 days and feel good. And, I remember that in my fourth game or fifth, my groin wasn't feeling good, and I got through that. And the adjustment that me and Williams been making together, something very special, that the relationship that we built.
Freddie, you're throwing your changeup more this year than your slider. What has changed for you as far as the way you've pitched that's made you a better pitcher this year, do you think?
I think, understanding how good my fastball is and just combining that with the changeup, I think it's been probably the best idea that we took. It wasn't only me. It was me, Hookie, Villa, and Contreras. We all decide together that the combination with the fastball and the changeup was a really good idea, that we had nothing to lose if we put it on practice, and that's what we've been doing. I'm not gonna lie, in some games we have to go otherwise, you know what I'm saying? We have to use more breaking balls, but it's basically depends how everything is going. It's just making adjustments.
Was that early in spring training, right at the start of spring training, or was that after?
No, it was in spring training. Okay. We had a conversation during the off season, but spring training was when I was putting the work on, and since then we've been doing it.
Freddie, you earned this on your own, but just how much support do you receive from Hookie and Villa and Jim and your catchers and just everybody that it takes for you to be on the field?
A lot of support every day, not only in the good games. In the bad games, I always have somebody there letting me know that with the bad days you can take something good. and just make adjustments. And like I said, we always been very close. We always having conversations. Even the position players, guys, they give me some ideas sometimes. Turan, Ortiz, the guys in the middle infield, like because they know how I'm pitching, they have the pitch count and all that, and they know how to move. It's a lot of credit for all of them because they've been helping me to be where I am right now.
Freddie, you talked about 21 years old coming up. You probably thought about trying to have success and maybe winning the World Series, but did you think about All-Star games?
Not really. But then I was just trying to protect my career, to try to pitch good, to stay here. I had no idea how it's going to be and all that. I was just pitching, trying to not come down to AAA and all that. But then, all the work that we put every day, when you have the right people around and there are good conversations, everything can be, great in the future for me. It's how it's been for me.
There is Freddie Peralta speaking to the media after learning he will be an all-star for the second time in his major league career. That audio courtesy of Adam McCalvey on Twitter, Brewers beat writer for MLB.com. It is the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And at the beginning of this segment, we played our Coach's Corner inside the clubhouse type sound. There's a lot to get to in pregame today, as we just heard Freddie Peralta right there talking about how he is cracking the All-Star Game roster. The Brewers now have a new man up with the team for the time being, as Rhys Hoskins was placed on the 10-day IL with the sprained left thumb he suffered in the game 2 days ago against the Miami Marlins. Jake Bauers ended up coming in to play for him yesterday. Today, it'll be Andrew Vaughn cracking the major league lineup for the first time this season with the Milwaukee Brewers. Vaughn is who the team acquired in the trade for Aaron Savale with the White Sox earlier this year, and he has had some time in AAA Nashville during this time, 16 games, an OPS over 850, and he'll be making his Brewers debut today. Andrew Vaughn speaking to the media earlier today. Here is our first sound and look of Andrew Vaughn talking about his time with Nashville and now his future with the Milwaukee Brewers.
Just kind of what was your mindset of taking advantage of a new opportunity?
Yeah, definitely change the scene, just getting, around some new people. It was a great group in Nashville. Got to work and just trying to get better every single day.
How has that gone? Have there been any developments that you feel like put you in a good spot here?
Yeah, I feel like my swing consistency has been a lot better. Swing decisions, just working in the cage and getting it right.
Was there anything different you did mechanically once you got to Nashville, or just, the results seem to be pretty good so far?
Yeah, there were some keys I worked on. Just simple things. Don't want to do a whole revamp of the swing because that's probably impossible during the season. Most hitters would say that, but just small keys and getting it right.
Is there something to the concept of just a change in scenery? It seems like such a simple concept, but sometimes it really does seem to make a difference.
Yeah, it could be. Just getting around new people, different views of the game, I guess you could say, and just taking full advantage of it.
That call the other day seemed to come pretty quickly, getting pinch hit for in the first inning. Were you a little surprised when you got taken out right away there?
Yeah, a little bit. I was going up to hit, about to hit, 1 o'clock game, and Rick Sweet came up and he was like, "Hey, take your stuff off. You're out of here." I was like,
"Okay." You know right away?
No, he had to tell me, but yeah.
You obviously have a track record. You've shown you can do it in the majors. Just how much confidence does that give you, knowing you've done it before? And what do you think has been the issue the last couple of years when you haven't been able to match that production?
Yeah, just got to be confident every day going to the box. Be myself and do whatever I can to help this team win.
How hard is it? You come into an organization and there's a guy like Rhys Hoskins at first base. They're not going to probably move him off of there. How hard is it to just kind of be patient and wait your time?
Yeah, just got to do my thing. Be the best version of myself every single day and just play the game one day at a time.
When you did get here, the trade happened. What was the Brewers' message to you when you got there?
It was a welcome and, hey, go do your thing.
See any differences in hitting philosophies or what they wanted you to do with your swing or approach or anything like that between the two clubs?
It was pretty similar. Once I got over here, it was just simplified. Get back to what makes me good and be consistent with it.
What does make you good? Hit the ball hard?
Yeah, hitting the ball hard is good. That's always good. Just being simple, being consistent in the box.
Are there familiar faces in here?
Yeah, I played against pretty much most of these guys, so everybody is familiar.
There is Andrew Vaughn speaking to the media earlier today. That audio courtesy of Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports. He'll join the leadoff show today at 6:15, powered by Focus Baseball. Austin Herdina will join us from the Potawatomi Sportsbook at 6 o'clock today to get you some of the best bets if you want to get any action on today's game against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Andrew Vaughn, the newest member of the Milwaukee Brewers, will make his Brewers debut today. Excited to see what they can get out of him. He's batting in the 5th spot today, so obviously manager Pat Murphy excited to see what he has with Andrew Vaughn. Blake Perkins update as well to come on this show. But first, let's hear from the manager, Pat Murphy, what he had to say in his pregame presser today. Notice the lineup today, no Joey Ortiz in there. Apparently, that was for a reason, and Pat Murphy did not hold back in his pregame presser on that. Here is the manager getting ready for Dodgers-Brewers today at 6:40.
Mark, is Vaughn a good matchup for that arsenal?
Nobody's a good matchup for that arsenal. But right-handers and left-handers, it's a little bit even. Sometimes I think, especially a veteran, get him here and play him. This is a really tough matchup, but it gets the familiarity with the park and the ball players. He doesn't know any of our guys either, really. So it's great to have him here, and saddened to lose Reese for a little bit, but he'll be back, and confident he will contribute a bunch.
What is the thinking of a timeline for that sprain?
Yeah, I mean, it can be weeks, not days, but he was good today, much better today, so hopefully he's on the short end of that weeks thing.
Mark, it was just about 15 games for Vaughn, so maybe not the biggest sample, but is there anything from the reports down there that stood out to you or you guys liked?
Nothing that would change our opinion of who we think he can get back to, because a few years ago he was a force and a hitter you didn't want to face every day. You know what I mean? Like, he was a guy that could get you a base hit and hit a double in the gap and hit the ball hard. Obviously he fell on tough times, but sometimes a new environment and learning that lesson. I mean, people respond all the time to failures. That's how you get to the top. So hopefully he's in that mindset and he wants to. What you do in AAA doesn't necessarily translate. So, yeah, I'm excited to have him.
Murph, yesterday you spoke a little bit about just Freddie and how hard it is to be recognized as an all-star. How did he post for you to earn that?
Yeah. I mean, you think about it. This guy is, he didn't come up as a top 100 prospect or anything like that, and we acquired him early in his career, and he just got better and better and better. In his first outing in 2018, was it, or 17? 18. Was memorable, and every year he's just taken on a bigger role, better and better and better. And this year in particular, he's been so consistent. It's been amazing. Now, this is the Dodgers match up better against Freddie than any team we've played, and they match up better against all our pitchers. So this will be another test for him. But he is seeing Woody yesterday set the tone of, hey, we're here and we're going to attack. I hope Freddie does the same thing, and I think he will.
Woody said he felt pretty good today, considering, just the day after and normal soreness and all of that. Is that encouraging?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think Woody's still on a high from, doing something I don't think anybody thought we could. We couldn't anticipate Woody throwing that well and being that consistent, having his command and his changeup, and just like it didn't look like he took any time off. That's pretty amazing, and a credit to our medical staff and all the people involved in getting him healthy.
Mark, does it probably go Priester, Woody, Freddie for the final games before the first half?
Priester, Woody, Freddie. That's exactly it. How about that?
Would you like to do the double dip with Freddie then, coming back from the break?
You're asking me to think ahead. Yes. You know all I have on my plate. Do you know all my kids? Do you want a babysitter or anything?
I'm dead. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I can't think that far ahead. You know I don't think that far ahead.
There's a 0% chance you haven't thought that far ahead.
No, I have not thought that far ahead.
Someone else has.
Yeah, the important people have. They don't ask me to do those important jobs.
Murph, Joey's been.
I'm just here to entertain you stiffs.
Joey's been out of the
I didn't mean that. I do this all the time. It's kind of like American humor, you know what I mean? Which I know you know about. But.
Learning.
Murph, Joey's been out of the lineup back-to-back days now. Is there something that he's dealing with?
Yeah, the manager's pissed. You know what I mean? I want him to give me his best approach at the plate, and we've given him a lot. I mean, we play him every day, and we need him, and he can't just have lapses at the plate like that. So he's got to fight through that.
Is it related at all to? Just seemed like you took a lot of pitches in Miami. Is that part of it?
Yeah, his swing decisions have been the worst it's been, and he's swinging the bat way better, but his swing decisions now, and then so all that mental stuff, they'll sit and think about it.
We talked a little bit about the Dodgers matching up against Freddie for the next couple of days. What's different about playing the Dodgers, whether it's just what their lineup construction is or what the crowds are going to be the next couple of days? How is it different than a normal series here?
I think the crowds will help us. I don't think that hurts us in any way. I think if you're in the major leagues, you know that. But, are they the best record in baseball, or one of them?
I think the Tigers are one ahead.
Yeah.
So it's like playing one of the best teams in baseball. And they have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 11 of the best players in baseball, all on one team. So, yeah, it's a great opportunity. That's what you look at. It's a great opportunity. Pressure's, like I told people, Dave Roberts, I think, has the toughest managing job in baseball. You may disagree with that, but from my standpoint, it's all on him. You know what I mean? Like that's a tough job. Tough job. I respect it, what he did last year, and I respect it. He's under the gun all the time, and that's tough. Baseball's a game where you can be the best player over time, but it's about winning tonight and putting that together every night. I mean, you could say, well, he's got the biggest army and the most ammunition, but you got to produce day in and day out in this game under these rules. And it's tough. So I respect them. I respect the Dodgers. They are supposed to win, and there's pressure that comes along with it.
Back to Joey a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you want to see from
hard contact?
Like in the days off. What do you
Conviction.
Want to see for
Conviction.
how that impacts his decisions?
Conviction. I want to see conviction when he gets back in there. Like, I'm not letting this happen. I have a responsibility. I don't have to get results, but I have to be convicted. I have to be ready. I have to be clear-headed, and I have to be able to fire.
You mentioned the great Dodgers lineup. What do you think, especially to Shohei Ohtani?
I love the guy, man. He seems super respectful. Seems like he respects the game. Seems like he loves the game. He's been blessed with unbelievable talent and then developed that talent. I mean, Betts is maybe my favorite player. Freddie is my favorite person. And I don't like Freddie, but I love him, okay? So I love Freddie as a person. But as a baseball player, he's caused a lot of sleepless nights in my life. So I hope he misses his Uber and the Uber takes him to the wrong stadium.
Or he missed the bus. Get on that bus, right?
And the bus takes him to
Different.
the White Sox stadium.
Chicago. Closest, yes.
There is the manager, Pat Murphy, speaking to the media earlier today. That audio courtesy of Drew Wagner. We'll hear from him at 6:15. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, we'll hear from Blake Perkins as he provides an update on his injury situation. We'll go through the Building a Winner feature presented by Ironworkers Local 8. Austin Herdina set to join the show as well at the top of the hour. It is the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Who's hurt? Who's getting close to coming back? Let's check out today's injury report. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan.
Welcome back to the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz here with you, getting you caught up on all things Milwaukee Brewers baseball, heading into game number 1 of a series between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Before we hear from Blake Perkins on his injury update, let me run down the Milwaukee Brewers lineup again for you guys here today. Sal Frelick in right field leads things off. William Contreras, the catcher, will bat second. Jackson Chourio, the center fielder, bats third. Christian Yelich, the DH, will bat fourth today. Andrew Vaughn, the first baseman, the newest Brewer, will bat fifth. Isaac Collins in left field bats sixth. Bryce Turang, the second baseman, bats seventh today. Caleb Durbin, the third baseman, will bat eighth. Andrew Monasterio rounds things out. He is the shortstop, batting ninth today for the Crew. Blake Perkins speaking to the media earlier today, providing an update on how his rehab assignment has gone and why he might have been pulled from the last rehab outing. Here is Blake Perkins speaking to the media.
Like it's been such a long haul for you. Just where are you at in your process and how you're feeling physically?
It's good to say that my shin that was fractured is good. I felt really good the last couple weeks playing in Arizona and Nashville, and unfortunately had a little bit of a flare-up, I would say, a little groin tightness, and just was cautious with it and figured a couple more days is better than doing this process all over again. So I'm feeling good today. I'm gonna do pretty much everything normal, hit, throw, run. I was just out there shagging, felt really good. And I think I'll be going either back to Nashville to play a couple more games before the break or what. I'm not really sure about that, but I'll be here for a few days, I think.
The fact you're coming in after running around and all, got a sweat going, is probably a pretty good sign. Is that an indication of how you're feeling?
Yeah. I felt like free today, like myself. I didn't feel too restricted by anything. I feel like when you get hurt, some stuff always pops up, and I was trying my best to not have anything like this happen, but it is what it is, and just trying to be smart and so that I can play the second half and be here with the guys.
How much has this tested your patience going back to spring training and everything you've been through since?
Yeah, it has. Had to lean on my family and friends a lot for it, but there's good that comes out of it. I got to see my family a lot more in Arizona, and trying to take that time that I can, because it's been a long time since I've been there for something like Mother's Day and stuff like that. So patience for sure. A lot of gratefulness, and I've been watching the guys play every day, so watching every game, and I'm excited for them, and I'm just happy to be back and be hanging out with them.
With the shin, was it surprising that it ended up taking kind of that long to get back to full baseball activity?
Yes. Obviously, I've never dealt with an injury like that, so I didn't really have a lot to go off of, but yeah, I was quite surprised at how long it's been taking, and I don't think it's going to be perfect until I get a lot of rest in the off season, but it's good. It's good enough to go, and it's just kind of learning my body. What do I have to do this year to maintain what I can?
The key to building a winner in baseball is a strong minor league system. Who are the names we should know? How did they play in their last game? Ironworkers Local 8 brings you Building a Winner. Building Milwaukee's future, one beam at a time. Apply now at iwl8.org.
That was Blake Perkins speaking to the media earlier today about his injury and rehab assignment, how it's going. A lot more precautionary, so if you heard that Blake Perkins was removed from his game in Nashville last time around, not too serious, it sounds like. Just wants to get a couple more games in before the break. Hopes to be with the team sometime after. Now time for another Building a Winner feature presented by Ironworkers Local 8, building Milwaukee's future one beam at a time. Thanks again to Ironworkers Local 8 for being a part of the leadoff show. First team we always start with, it's in AAA.
Nashville Sounds.
Nashville picks up the victory yesterday as they won 15-11 over the Memphis Redbirds. The 15-run outburst against Memphis, it marked the most runs scored in a game this season for Nashville. The last time they put up 15 runs in a game was also at Memphis last year in April. Since July 1st, the Sounds have scored 40 runs. That is the fourth most in the International League. Jorge Alfaro, 3 for 5 in the game. Drew Avons, 3 for 5 in the game. Freddie Zamora, 1 for 3 with a homer. Ollie Dunn, you remember him? Yeah, he is not coming back up with the Brewers anytime soon, it sounds like here, but tearing it up yesterday, 2 for 5, an RBI, 2 runs scored, and a stolen base as well. Nashville Sounds now 50-35, 6-6 in the second half right now.
Biloxi Shuckers.
The Biloxi Shuckers ended up falling yesterday to the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, Miami's AA affiliate. Luis Lara was 3 for 5, however, in the contest. No game today. Biloxi now 7-5 in the second half right now, 49-32 overall after winning the first half championship for the Southern League South Division.
Wisconsin Timber Rattlers.
Timber Rattlers, yes, they were back in action, and it was Blayberg Diaz. We have not mentioned him very often on this show. Had a season-high 3 RBIs during the 7-6 victory over the Beloit Skycarp in Game 2 of the doubleheader on Sunday. Diaz was promoted to Wisconsin on April 29th after he had a .310 batting average in 12 games with Class A Carolina to start the year. Now, the Carolina Mudcats, unfortunately, their game was rained out, postponed, and the Complex League and the DSL also off days yesterday in the minor league report. Looking around, just some of the other numbers you should know. Now with our very own Andrew Vaughn being promoted, he is now up with the Major League club. Other things to note, some of the batting average leaders, it is Marco Dinges, Luis Pena, Blake Burke, all batting .311 or higher. Dinges is batting .323 across both levels of Carolina and Wisconsin right now. Brock Wilkin is still atop with 18 home runs, hasn't played in a while, but Eric Batanti now has a tie for second place with Jorge Alfaro, who has been the AAA catcher pretty much all year for the Milwaukee Brewers and the Nashville Sounds as of right now. Logan Henderson picked up a win his last time out, now leads the organization with 8 victories in minor league baseball right now. Off day today for minor league baseball. We'll be back with the report, of course, tomorrow, as we will have some more news. We'll try to find another prospect rankings for the people, because right now the Milwaukee Brewers, according to MLB Pipeline, 6 top 100 prospects, including the number 8 prospect Jesus Mate, Jacob Mizorowski, number 21, Luis Pena at number 39. That'll keep going up. I'm telling you, I think he's the best prospect in the Brewers organization right now. Cooper Pratt is at 44, Jefferson Cuero at 70, and Logan Henderson at 91, all in the latest MLB Pipeline Top 100. This Building a Winner feature brought to you by Ironworkers Local 8, building Milwaukee's future one beam at a time. Coming up, we're going to talk to Austin Herdina over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Get you some of the best bets if you want to get any action on today's series opener between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Los Angeles Dodgers. It is the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
I'll see you later.
Let's get the latest on today's odds for the game. What's the best way to go? Let's check in with our expert from the Potawatomi Sportsbook to find out. It's the Leadoff Show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Welcome back to the Leadoff Show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wortz here with you before we get over to Austin Herdina, live at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Let me run down the Milwaukee Brewers lineup again for you on the other side at the top of the hour. Sal Frelick leads things off. He's in right field. William Contreras is catching, batting second today. Jackson Chourio in center field will bat third. Christian Yelich, the DH, bats fourth today. Andrew Vaughn, newest member of the crew, will be at first base batting fifth. Isaac Collins in left field bats sixth. Bryce Terang, the second baseman, batting seventh today. Caleb Durbin at third base will bat eighth. Andrew Monasterio, the shortstop today, rounds things out for the crew. Joining the show now, as he does each and every day, you can find him over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. He is the manager of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Austin Herdina joining the Leadoff Show. Austin, before I let you talk about the great bets I'm sure you're going to give us today, the other man who tends to join us on this show, if you are not available, Luis Olmos over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I am pleased to say you now are one of two managers to be manager of the month over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I mean, it's probably me. It's probably me helping you guys out. I know you're enjoying some time up in Door County right now. Austin, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. I didn't hear that news. Are you breaking news right now?
I'm breaking news to you, it sounds like. So anyone who helps out with the Leadoff Show, automatically manager of the month. I think you were manager of the quarter, so it was like a much bigger deal for sure than Luis. But still, I mean, all I do is make champions on this show. That's what I'm trying to say. So congrats. Give Luis a nice congrats when you see him, but tell him that he deserves to say congrats to you more because you did it for a whole quarter.
I did. I mean, that's 3 times better than him, from what I understand.
Yes, wow. And we're getting math lessons here from Austin Herdina over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Austin, yesterday, Brandon Woodruff, you were all over it. You said he has pitched already. He is ready to go. Boy, could it have been any better for Brandon Woodruff yesterday in his first start in almost 2 years?
Oh, it was awesome. It was so great to see. I saw that, it was his first win in, gosh, almost 700 days. So It was like 600 something. That's got to feel great for him and just for the Brewers as well to have just another top-notch starter to add to the rotation that's been really good this year.
Yeah.
If we can get this kind of performance from him, playoffs are in sight.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin Herdina over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook joining the Leadoff Show. Let's get into the parlay today that we're trying to make up for the people. Dodgers coming into town, one of the best teams in baseball. Obviously, the lineup is dangerous. The pitching staff, awesome. And the money line favors the Dodgers, but not by the most we have seen by any means. Dodgers currently minus 136 over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. The run line of 1.5 actually has minus odds in favor of the Brewers, and the over-under set at 7.5 today. Austin, what are you liking over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook to start off a parlay for the people from your most popular bets?
All right, so when the Brewers are an underdog, getting plus 1.5, they have covered that in 8 straight games. So whether they've won the game outright or they've lost by only 1, that's 8 in a row that they've covered at when the underdog plus 1.5. So give me that on there. And then I like Christian Yelich to get a hit. I feel like he's going to come through again. And then Mookie Betts. He's one of my favorite players. I think he's underrated, one of the best players in baseball. Obviously, World Series champion. I like him to come through with a hit. So put those two together along with the plus 1.5, and you're looking at plus 285.
Plus 285 over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Brewers to cover the 1.5 run line. Christian Yelich and Mookie Betts to each get a hit. Pays plus 285, courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I would find time to root for Mookie Betts, Austin, if he didn't play for the Dodgers right now, because again, very exciting player. He's just a fine wine. He's getting better with age. He's moved from center field to right field to second base to shortstop all during his career. Truly a jack of all trades. Love to see what he can do. Tomorrow as well, Austin, it's going to be Clayton Kershaw going up against Jacob Mizorowski. That's going to be an all-timer for the people to watch. A nice little 6:40 start as well. Looking ahead, if you want to make a reservation over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, how might you do that if you want to go watch the big game tomorrow? And what else is going on over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook that the people should know about, Austin?
Yeah, so right now during the summertime, unless it's for a special event, it's first come, first serve. But if you want to look at reservations for like a UFC pay-per-view, or if you want to look ahead and, for SummerSlam, first weekend of August, we have those available right now to book. So you go to Potawatomi.com and Sportsbook and then reservations, and you can choose your table, and you're putting a deposit down towards food and beverage.
Easy enough. Great food, great beverage over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook as well. Austin Herdina, manager of the quarter as well, joining the leadoff show. Enjoy the rest of your time up in Door County. I know you got some burgers and brats to attend to. I won't take much more of your time. We'll talk again tomorrow, Austin. Thank you so much. And, of course, go Brewers.
Sounds good. Go Brewers.
There he is, Austin Herdina over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, joining the leadoff show as he does each and every day. And his parlay for the people, it is the Brewers to cover the 1.5 run line today. Christian Yelich to record a hit and Mookie Betts to record a hit. Pays plus 285 over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook today. Let's do a little eye on the enemy for the first time in a while. Why not?
Nobody likes them.
Craig Counsell returning to American Family Field.
We all want to see them lose.
It's not my job to tell people how to feel about something, or even to figure it out. Let people feel how they want to feel, and I'm good with that, and I think it doesn't have to be all positive.
It's time to eye up the enemy for today's game. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
It is the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And we're going to go for a little eye on the enemy here as Freddie Peralta and the Milwaukee Brewers set to take on Yoshinobu Yamamoto and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yamamoto obviously coming over last year, had the massive contract, largest contract we have ever seen from a Japanese player coming over from the NPB to America. Obviously, now Shohei Ohtani has the largest contract, or was the largest contract in baseball until Juan Soto just broke that. But Yamamoto, the same deal, $340 million, nothing to sniff at by any means. He is facing the Milwaukee Brewers, actually, the first time in his career right now. No one in the Milwaukee Brewers lineup any sort of history against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. However, on the other side, a lot of experience with Freddie Peralta taking on members of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, Shohei Ohtani is 1 for 3 in his career with Mookie Betts. If you want to guess what that one hit was, yep, it was a home run. He's also walked a couple of times, has had Freddie Peralta's number, will lead things off today in the game. Mookie Betts, however, is 1 for 9 in his career. You want to guess what that one hit was? Yes, also a home run for Mookie Betts. Has struck out as well during that time and has not drawn a walk. Those are all his natural plate appearances. Freddie Freeman, who we heard the manager Pat Murphy speak about in the pregame coverage today, talking about how much of a thorn in the side he can be in the lineup. Well, he is 5 for 19 5 for 21 in his career versus the Freddie Peralta. 1 home run, 2 RBIs in that time frame. Also a homer. Will Smith, 1 for 7, has taken Freddie Peralta deep in his career. Then it gets a little bit tougher as we go down. Andy Pajes is 0 for 2. Michael Conforto, 1 for 6. James Outman, 0 for 5 in his career versus Freddie. And Miguel Rojas in the 8th spot today has had a little bit of success. He is 4 for 13 in his career versus Freddie Peralta. No home runs in that time. All of them, it looks like, singles as well. I actually really enjoy Miguel Rojas as a person. Seems like a really great guy whenever you see him talking. He's very open to talking to the media all the time as well. Unfortunately, he's had some success against Freddie Peralta, though, so hoping that can be reversed with Freddie now being named to his second All-Star game as well. We heard from that earlier today. Exciting time indeed to be a part of the Milwaukee Brewers right now, because this seems like it's a measuring stick series, and Freddie Peralta and Jacob Mizorowski get the first 2 games, and then Jose Quintana gets game 3. This might be the 3 best arms Milwaukee has to offer at the starting rotation, and they get to go up against the best talent in baseball. Coming up, we're going to talk to Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports, get some of his insight on Brandon Woodruff's first outing in almost 2 years, plus preview the series up against the Los Angeles Dodgers. It is the Leadoff Show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
What's the latest on the crew? Let's go inside the clubhouse with Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports on the Leadoff Show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Inside the clubhouse is brought to you by Focus Baseball. Sign your kids up now for July open tryouts at focusbaseball.com, ages 6 to 17.
Welcome back to the Leadoff Show. Tommy Wortz here with you. One more segment before we get out of here. Let me run down the Milwaukee Brewers lineup one last time for you guys here today. Sal Frelick in right field will lead things off. William Contreras is catching, batting second. Jackson Chourio, the center fielder, bats third. Christian Yelich is the DH, batting fourth today. Andrew Vaughn at first base will bat fifth. Isaac Collins in left field bats sixth. Bryce Terang, the second baseman, will bat seventh today. Caleb Durbin, the third baseman, will bat eighth. Andrew Monasterio rounds things out. He is the shortstop, batting ninth. Joining the show now on the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All guest hotline, it is Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports. You can follow him on Twitter @ByAndrewWagner. Drew, welcome into the show. How are we doing today, my friend? Oh, Drew, you got me? 1 second here. 1 second. I don't know if I got you, Drew. I'm trying here, Drew. I don't hear you. I'm sorry. Well, we'll see if we can get Drew back on here in a second, try to get things all worked out and squared away. But Drew Wagner, what we're going to talk about with him is basically how great things have gone so far for Brandon Woodruff and how things have worked out during this time for the Milwaukee Brewers. How really could you have turned it up any other different way for these Milwaukee Brewers and how things have worked out for Brandon Woodruff and these Milwaukee Brewers? 90 games in there, 50-49 now on the season. Things have gone exceptionally well for the Brewers. Here, I'll try it on this side here. Drew Wagner joining the leadoff show. You got me here, Drew? 1 sec. Oh, call back one more time. I promise I'll get you on. I know we can do this. I know we can. Here we go. Let me try this one last time. I'm going to go over here. We're going to pick it up. Drew Wagner is going on hold right now. And then I'm going to bring him up on the other side over here. Drew, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, all right, making sure. Sorry about that. It's on my end for sure here, Drew. We had to jump over to the other line here, made a nice adjustment. Drew, yesterday, Brandon Woodruff, could you have drawn it up any better than what happened yesterday? 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts. That was vintage Big Woo on the mound for the Crew.
Yeah, didn't look like he missed a step, The thing is, we forget, too, that before he got hurt, he was probably having one of, if not the best stretch of his career. I mean, he was lights out. And that injury couldn't have come at a worse time. So you take into account all the time lost, all the setbacks on the way, the rehab, the surgery itself. You're expecting him to go out and give you 5 innings. That was as good as you could have possibly expected. And when we say that was vintage Brandon Woodruff, I mean that's an understatement. That was prime Brandon Woodruff. That was Brandon Woodruff at his absolute best.
Drew, the velocity was there too. I mean, he got it up to like 95, 96 yesterday, and on top of it, I mean, the accuracy, he didn't miss a spot, I don't think, for like 5 innings into that game. Until he gave that home run up, he was painting the corners all day.
Yeah. I mean, he was, like I said, it was vintage. It was Brandon Woodruff, playoff performance. It was, I don't even know how to put it into words. It was that good. When you take everything into account to get that out of him, you could not have asked or drawn up a better plan for the day. He was absolutely spectacular. Is he going to do that every time out? Probably not, but man, was it good to see, even if it was just for one game, which is something that he said, throughout his rehab process. Just give me one more game. And if, God forbid, something happens, and the shoulder doesn't recover, and that's the game that he would have to go out on, I mean, what a hell of a way. What a performance.
Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports joining the leadoff show. Follow him on Twitter @ByAndrewWagner. Drew, another thing from yesterday, Jackson Chourio, big day. He had 3 RBIs, had the 15th home run on the season. And one thing that I really love to bring up about Jackson Chourio is how much this Brewers team and Pat Murphy rely on him to just be flexible, right? He was a corner outfielder to start his career. He's moved over from left field to center field now just for the injured Garrett Mitchell. He's batted leadoff to start the season. He's been comfortable in the 2 spot. He was batting 4th the last couple of days, and now he's back at 3rd today. How valuable is Jackson Chourio's versatility, and why do you think that the Brewers are so confident that he will adjust no matter where he is in a lineup, no matter where he is playing on a field?
Because that's what he's done his entire professional career. He's made the adjustments. This is something that I've harped on repeatedly. For all of his talent, his biggest attribute, his biggest skill is the ability to adjust. When he would get moved up, first time out in professional baseball. You know, he had to adjust to that after playing in the Dominican League and all that stuff. And now you're adjusting to facing professional pitchers and being a professional place where you don't speak the language and you're new and all. He adjusted to that. Gets moved up. He has to adjust to a whole nother level of pitching. He's done that. He has adjusted every time that the league or the game or the team or the organization, what have you, has thrown something at him. He has figured it out. It hasn't always been easy. You know, it hasn't always been pretty either. But he's always been able to figure it out and get the job done. And that, more than anything else, more than any other skill he has, that's why Jackson Chourio got a 10-year contract and is in the major leagues before playing a single major league game.
Drew Wagner joining the leadoff show. Drew, let's talk about today's game. A couple of things that we have to talk about with the lineup. Number one, Andrew Vaughn being placed in now. Rhys Hoskins hitting just the 10-day IL, it seems like. Andrew Vaughn struggling at the major league level with the Chicago White Sox over the last couple of years. And then on top of it, had some struggles with the Charlotte Knights in AAA. But he came over, he had 16 games with the Nashville Sounds. The opportunity struck, and now he gets to come up with the big league ball club. What can Andrew Vaughn bring to this team that would really be helpful for the Milwaukee Brewers? And how much of a leash do you think he will have with Pat Murphy and his squad?
Well, I mean, the leash is kind of not really existed because of the situation that they're in. You know, they're going to have to play him because they're not going to play Jake Bauers every day. You know, they're going to go with the matchups. You know, I think the hope is that he regains his power stroke. You know, this is a guy that could do a lot of damage with the bat, not just in terms of home runs, but driving the ball, driving runs in, hitting the ball hard, you know, making things happen, the kind of things that you expect from a power hitter. That's what he is. He's a power hitter. And again, that doesn't just mean home runs. It means he's hitting the ball hard, he's hitting the gaps, extra bases, driving runs in, generating offense. That's what they need from him. That's what they're hoping to see out of him. You know, it's kind of sink or swim right now because behind him, they don't have a lot of options until Hoskins comes back.
Drew, now the other one, we talked about it a little bit beforehand. You sent over the audio of Pat Murphy speaking to the media earlier today, and he did not hold back on Joey Ortiz and his offensive performance over the last couple of days, basically just talking about his swing decision and the mental game that goes into hitting. I mean, this might have been one of the better stretches of Joey Ortiz's career with the Milwaukee Brewers up until those last two games. Were you surprised to see that reaction from Pat Murphy benching Joey Ortiz the last 2 days just because of a couple of swing decisions? Do you think there's something else that we're not getting the whole story, or this is just a reaction that you're used to from Pat Murphy?
It wasn't so much a couple of days. Some of the numbers nerds up in the press box are crunching the numbers, and it was something like, I think during the last road trip, he swung at 52% of the pitches that were in the zone and 38% of the pitches that were outside of the zone. Not exactly banner numbers, and it's something that's plagued him throughout the year. He's had some success of late. There's no doubt about that. But they see things beyond just the production. You know, this kind of goes back to what led the whole team meeting a couple of months ago in Cleveland. You know, preparation, being prepared when you go out there, being prepared as you go into an at-bat, being aware of the situation. And they're not seeing it in a young player, and sometimes you have to send the message, and sometimes, you know, you got to try calling a guy out because they have given him a lot of leeway. He has had a really long leash. His defense has kept him in there at times. Yeah, he's starting to produce a little bit more, but they're seeing things in Joey's game that are saying, you know what, you need to just take a break and sit back and watch for a little bit. It's the same thing they did last year with Jackson Chourio in a way.
Drew Wagner joining the leadoff show. Follow him on Twitter @byAndrewWagner. Drew, one last question before I let you out of here. All-star lineups are announced, the roster also being finalized now, but Freddie Peralta, second-time All-Star now, only All-Star for the Milwaukee Brewers. Congrats to him. I think he absolutely deserves it. Do you think anyone else should be a little upset that they didn't get a nod from whether it is the coaches and players who bring in the pitchers or the fan vote on the offensive side for the players? I really thought Abner Uribe had a shot to make one. I know it's just really hard to get love as a relief pitcher if you're not a closer. Anyone else do you think could have been a little upset?
I mean, maybe Sal. That's probably the only other obvious one that I think might have had an argument for it. But other than that, again, we talked about this with Mason and Mitch. There's a lot of guys that are playing good baseball on this roster, but there's no one that's really overly stand out playing great baseball that you could say, oh, this guy got snubbed. I think when all's said and done, you might see maybe Sal sneak in as an injury replacement as we get closer. Maybe Bryce Terang, but I think it was the right call going with Freddie.
Well, Freddie Peralta, two-time All-Star, absolutely deserves it this year. Has been the ace for the Milwaukee Brewers. They will need him tonight as he will take on the Los Angeles Dodgers for Game 1 of the series. Drew, enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the game. We'll talk again tomorrow, my friend.
Sounds good. Take care.
There he is, Drew Wagner, joining the leadoff show. Follow him on Twitter @byAndrewWagner. One last thing to get to before we get out of here. Keys to the game.
How does the crew win today's game? Who needs to step up? Let's find out with the keys to the game. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Keys to the game today for the Milwaukee Brewers. It's going to be all offensive based, and we're going to revisit the number that we revisit just about every single day on this show. Dodgers are a great team. We're going to need the offense to stay competitive against the Dodgers in this series for the Milwaukee Brewers. 42-9. That's it. 42-9 when they score 4 runs in a game. Give Freddie some help. Give Freddie the lead early. That is today's keys to the game. That's going to do it for us here on the Leadoff Show. Make sure you guys check us out wherever you get your podcasts, on the Odyssey app as well, at thefanmilwaukee.com if you want to listen. We will be back tomorrow with local programming here on The Fan starting at 8 a.m. with Andy Herman's return on the Pack-A-Day Radio Show. It is the Leadoff Show, live from the 1250 a.m., 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Don't forget, send them home.